So for today's word of the day, I am choosing Gollum. Noun. And it's not like the Lord of the Rings character. A golem is an animated anthropomorphic being with roots in Jewish folklore. It is a creature that is formed out of a lifeless substance such as dust or clay and is brought to life by ritual incantations.
I wonder why you picked that word, Kevin.
I wonder.
You haven't even read that?
Wait, what are you doing with the book?
So he has the confidence to finish the story.
Hear now the words of the witches.
This is Kevin, and welcome to Words of the Witches, the Charmed podcast that will guide you through the lesser-known published material in the Charmed universe and decide how it fits into the grand narrative of the TV series.
Welcome to Words of the Witches, episode 53. I'm Kevin, your resident Charmed resource.
I'm Sean. I just love comic books.
Yay! And we have a guest, Bobby Calloway. Hello, welcome.
Hello, thank you for having me. It is an honor to be surrounded by two guys with fantastic taste.
Yay! We love that.
Yay!
I'm very excited to have you because you do like YouTube videos and you have these really great video essays, and I found you because you do a lot of Charmed coverage, Charmed episode coverage, and just the points you made were so fascinating, and I love them, and I agree, and so yeah, I needed you on here.
Oh yeah, I mean, oh god, it's nearly a year ago since I did my first Charmed video, and it was just a random person on Twitter, because I was kind of towards the end of last year, I was doing a lot of, I called it 12 minutes of gushing, where it was like a 12-minute video on why we love this thing, and someone said, can you do the original Charmed? And I kind of quickly realized that I can't really do just 12 minutes on an 8-season TV series, so it became a 2-part video, and now I'm doing like individual episode analysis, and the obsession is not dying.
Yeah, it's great. And you just finished one, so that's exciting. You're doing a page one now.
Yeah.
But what's cool about you, your Instagram handle is Bobby Iceman, and Sean's favorite X-Man is Iceman.
Really?
Yes. I love him.
High five.
So I knew you'd be a great addition.
I mean, I picked Bobby as my nickname because of Iceman, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if that comes through, but he's on my arm.
I can't see it too clearly, but yeah, send me a picture afterwards and I'll fully appreciate it.
I had a YouTube comment that I wanted to address. It says, these read-throughs are great, but what would make it even better is if we, the viewers, could go through the pages with you guys. I'm not sure how you would integrate this. So, and this is from Dwayne Morgan. And so he was listening to it on YouTube where we just have like one stagnant picture. And he's like, we should include the comic book pages. And I'm like, I don't feel like editing that in there.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. But you can find these comic books pretty easily online. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to include the link in our episode description for each episode. So if people read along or they feel like reading along, they can do that. And it's really easy. You can click the Spotify, or if you're on Spotify, play it, go to the link, and then listen while you're reading. It's real easy, real nice. But part of this podcast was I wanted to be able to introduce people who don't have access to them or don't feel like reading the opportunity to get the stories by just listening. So I'm never going to require somebody to read to play along with us. So
good. That would be not nice.
Yeah. If you want to read, yeah, sure, it'll enhance the experience, but I'm not going to make you, so we'll take care of you. We also got another review, which is exciting.
Oh.
I'm going to read the review. It's from iTunes, Apple Podcasts, and the screen name was like, I can't even read it. It was like a cat walked over the keyboard. So I don't know. It starts with an H. So I posted it on the Instagram, and then the person who actually wrote it is like, that's mine. I don't know why it looks like that. So this is from Ethan Hinkle, who will come on for bonus episodes coming up. So it's really great. But it says, lovey! 5 stars. Such a fun way to consume new Charmed content. I was never much of a reader of the books or comics, and I love how this format connects me with the new stories to bring Charmed back alive. Kevin is a pure and true fan of the universe and adds so much to the experience. It's better than reading them alone by far, that's for sure. and brings back the original feeling I used to have watching the show all those years ago. So grateful to have this. So sweet.
Yeah.
So thank you, Ethan, and then stay tuned next week for a 3-part bonus episode where he appears. We discuss the morality of Charmed, so that will be fun.
That's cool. I was actually discussing that with someone else yesterday.
Yeah, I did 3 parts. I did part 1 of evil, part 2 of good, and part 3 of neutral. So we get into it really in depth. So yeah, keep me posted on what you think of those. And then we have poll results. So last week I asked, which of Piper's powers is your favorite? And Sean said molecular acceleration. He likes her new power.
I do.
Yeah. On Instagram, that only got 2% at 1 vote.
Fuck my drag.
Next was molecular combustion at 14 votes, 25%. And then the winner was molecular immobilization at 40 votes, 73%. People love her root power. You know, that's the one that started it all. That's Instagram. On Twitter, I think it's a little bit different. So on Twitter, molecular acceleration got 6%.
Oh.
So it got a few more votes. Molecular combustion got 16%, and molecular immobilization won again at 77%.
Wow.
So, yeah. Interessant.
Fine. I don't care.
I think it's probably because the freezing just feels, that's probably like more the power that will be fun to have in real life. You know, like you just freeze someone and just, you know, get out of an awkward situation or just troll someone. Whereas, you know, I think if we all had the explosion power, we would basically all be like how she was in the first episode where she got it, you know, just
exploding everything, making a mess of everything. I hate this power. Let me put my oven glove, my oven mitts on, and you know.
I love that line so much. It's like, why did you vanquish Watermelon?
I wasn't vanquishing Watermelon.
Enough credit for the comic timing of, because well, we love the dramatic moments as well, but even in the episode I'm reviewing next, to Hell Hath No Fury, I was just like, this has some of the funniest moments across the whole series. Like, you know how Piper thinks the book has been stolen, and she just is like standing there just like with this like expression like this, like for about 10 seconds.
Yeah. Evil get the Book of Shadows? How did Evil get the Book of Shadows?
Oh no. I
think that it's feasible that Paige borrowed the book. She took our sacred... Okay, I'm done. But I do have one note about last issue. Do you remember when we talked about like that weird orbing thing, that white orbing thing? We couldn't tell what it was. And we have a little bit of a write-in. Jay Wong said that it was probably a crystal.
Oh. Okay.
But to me, I looked at it. It does not look like a crystal. It looks like a doorstop, like a literal doorstop, rubber doorstop. But it would make sense. A crystal would make sense there because that's what they're doing to protect the innocents around the house, and that's keeping them in. So I'm guessing that's what that was supposed to be.
Yeah. That's my one kind of complaint about the comics so far, is I feel like they don't describe like, this is this thing that we're doing, or this is my power I'm using. You kind of have
it's
to
not
read
always
between
very
the lines
clear
to figure it out. Yeah.
So because I think it does show up again in this issue, and I'm like, oh, it's still glowing, it's still there. So all right, well, silence. Let's get into this comic issue. So this was Unnatural Resources, published January 19th, 2011, written by Paul Ruditis, artwork by Marcio Abro again, he's back. And we have a couple different covers as well. We have cover A by David Seidman. This is the one that was the preview last week. So it has Phoebe with this mummy-looking hand on her throat. With a face of terror. We have Paige in the background with her hand reaching. And then Piper in there with her hand a-glowing with her new power. So, how do you feel about this one? Oh, and she also has the book, which is good. Do you like this cover?
Yeah. I love Seidman's work. I love every single one that he's done.
Exactly. He's so good. Cover B just took some season 8 from pictures from that episode.
I feel like such a geek. I instantly knew what episode that was from.
Tell us.
Yeah, I think it's It's called the Lost Picture Show, where it's the episode where Paige reconnects with Sam in season 8. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, they took this. It's actually from two different episode stills, production photos. So both the same episode, but different pictures of each of the girls. That cover was by Al Rio. There was also a cover C that had a season 6 promo picture and fireworks everywhere with a triquetra on the bottom. And then we had coloring by John Hunt, letters by Jim Campbell, edited by Ralph Tedesco and Paul Ruditis. Okay, so we see an exterior shot, little panel of Magic School, so that's their location. And the three sisters are looking at the Book of Shadows, and they're like, oh yeah, he's a golem. We know golems. And Paige is like, that guy was way hotter. Do you remember who this was?
The source.
The golem from before that they met, that they talked about how they met one before.
Oh, they're talking about from the what's it called with Freddy Krueger in it, that episode.
Size Matters, yeah.
Size Matters.
Oh yeah, it had the legend Robert Englund in there.
Yeah, and so and that was Gamble. He created Finn, the golem. She's like, Pepper, he has no belly button. So
and the scene that they walk in and it looks like Paige is performing certain acts. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that part.
So that was the golem we saw before, and that's why she's like, Paige is like, that guy was way hotter. Ooh, tee. And then we have Coop on the bottom saying, how did you defeat the source before? Which I love, because this is exactly what Paige asked in Desperate House Witches.
Yeah, biggest continuity mistakes ever.
I'm like, Paige. And so this time she's like, which time? She's like, I don't fucking remember. But Phoebe's like, we called upon the powerful line of Warren witches, which that's what they did the time before, but not that Desperate House Witches time. That time they're just like, let's blow up Mandy.
Yeah,
lesbian Nosferatu.
Yeah, because he was tethered to her life essence, so she died, then he died.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's when we talked about Hanging with the Hallows that she should have gotten rid of Wyatt too, because he did the put your finger in it magic part, so
I'm not gonna make any comments on that. I'm just gonna leave it.
Yeah. So they're talking about how they're gonna defeat the source, and Piper's like, I got it, we're just gonna use all the white magic practitioners in the realm. We're gonna collect magic from everybody in the magical community and combine it with ours, and maybe that will be enough to vanquish the source for good. Vanquish the source.
Okay, yeah, so we're showing an exterior shot of the school, and there is a being outside who is wearing nothing but a loincloth, but in very good shape. So yeah, if you're in that shape, show it off.
Our sexy sourcey.
And there's like, oh, look, company. Paige is just like, and we just got the place cleaned up from lost demon guests. That's probably something I would say as well. And we're being told the magical wards protecting the school should hold, but they won't keep the source out forever. And Piper's saying we don't need forever, just long enough.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I was staring at the source still. So on the next page, we see Piper's getting this very beautiful bowl together, and Paige is kind of like, what are you doing with that? And Piper's like, we're going to collect all the magic in this beautiful phosphorus cauldron. And Paige is like, fine, I'll do it, but I'm not going near the fairies or the leprechauns or the nymphs.
It's like, I don't like any of them. They bother me.
Right. So Paige agrees, and they're kind of like, Paige, you got to go near the fairies, the leprechauns, and the nymphs. You got to get magic from everyone. And she's kind of like, fine. But seriously, no leprechauns. And then she orbs out.
And they call this the phosphorus cauldron. So this is a new artifact we've never seen before. But part of me was thinking it was that same, because she said that demons left it. So I'm like, was this the same one from Desperate House Witches? I thought about it because it looked very similar. The only difference is this one is more decorative. There's more design on it. So maybe it's not the same, but it looks a lot like it.
They say it's a neutral artifact as well. Like, it's, even though the demons used it, it's not an evil artifact.
Right. But I was wondering why her ring glows here. What's so significant about this ring?
Oh, was that Coop's ring?
So Coop's adding his magic to the bowl then too.
And so-
Got it. Thank you. I'm like,
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, I
'Cause I was
just
like-
noticed this. All the sisters have short sleeves, so you can see like the tiniest bit of a sleeve in the corner.
see, they don't make that clear, but yeah, it would make because Coop's ring would make sense. He's going to add his power since he's there. He's part of the good magical community. Perfect. Thank you.
It would have worked better if they showed Coop in one of these other panels, but they don't. You just kind
They
of barely
don't.
see his blue shirt. So yeah,
Yeah.
good catch, Bobby.
All right. So the next page has Neena and Hogan in the underworld. Neena is working on a potion with her giant wooden spoon. Ooh.
Oh.
Hogan's in the back sulking. Like, grr, I don't like this at all. Yeah, he's complaining, and Nina's very annoyed by him. She's like, stop whining. And Hogan's like, I don't trust the source. He's not giving us our due credit. And she's like, well, he shouldn't trust us. And she like her demon potions like over her face and light on her face. It's very like, ooh, are you afraid of the dark? You know?
Oh yeah, I know. I think I know the technical term for that kind of expression. It's called a Kubrick stare.
Oh,
I think
look
so.
at
Yeah,
you.
they call it on TV tropes anyway.
See,
like
thank
someone
you.
like flashes the look like.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah.
Okay. We have a Fwam as the source attacks, and Phoebe's being told to go through the book, and she says we need the spell to end all cell. So take something from every page. Oh, sorry, I got confused where it said every page there for a moment. Not every
Every
page.
page in time in the
Every
multiverse.
page of the book, yeah. So every page, every spell, whatever it takes to finally vanquish the source forever. And how are we supposed to break through his rocky exterior? Do you think you can melt him in front, like the street in front of the manor? It sounds like, he sped up the molecules in the air until it, how did I get air out of tar? Sorry, my brain. So they need something else that can cut through stone infused with magic. And Piper is saying we need to borrow your husband.
I'd like to
Yeah.
borrow her husband.
Which one? She has like 3, hasn't she?
Right. Which one?
Right.
But I love how this is where Leo's explaining to the audience who may have not understood my Piper's power last issue what it was, what she does. And so yeah, let me borrow your husband, but it's to Beam. She just needs someone to transport her.
It's me. Stop it.
Sorry. Go ahead.
I know why you want to read this page. I'm sure you're very excited by what's on it. So let's get into it. So Piper and Coop beam into the attic, and Coop's kind of asking, like, why is this one getting to you so much? Why are you so motivated? Is it because of Shax and the death of Prue? So we kind of get that Prue moment here. And she's like, it's not just that. It's kind of like everything. Like, I can handle any type of bad thing. But the source has been back like so many times, and I'm just sick of the source. I'm sick of the fucking source. I just want to get rid of him. So she's looking around the attic, and she sees a blanket in the corner. She also sees Rusty lurking about
In the bushes.
in the bushes. So she takes off the blanket, and Kevin, it's the sword and the stone. It's Excalibur.
Oh! And I have that over there too.
Yes,
Oh,
you
do you?
do.
I have Excalibur, and I showed it to Holly. We compared swords. It was really fun because she took the one from set.
And fun fact, she says that the
It's
sword.
her
in the
favorite
city-
episode.
Yeah, because that's when she found out she was pregnant, I think.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
And I always
Beautiful
loved it
stuff.
because I just loved Paige's hair in that episode. You know, it did things for me when I was a kid, and I saw it.
Ooh.
Nice.
I like the blondes. I'm sorry.
And it was really, really nicely straightened too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry.
So I love this line at the end, at the bottom. Coop says, "The sword and the stone. You keep Excalibur in your attic," and Piper just nonchalantly says, "Live in one place long enough, you collect things."
I love that too because we talk about how we put it in an attic and we never see it again. It's because it was covered by a blanket. That's probably why we never saw it in the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that line though. You can totally hear Holly saying that line.
Yeah. But yeah, here's the shot where they have like that weird glowy doorstop again. It looks just like a doorstop. It's really
Oh,
bad.
I see it. Oh yeah, I think
So-
it is a crystal, but yeah, not drawn well.
Yeah,
Though.
it's
That's
not
a very
drawn
big
well.
crystal.
I need some points. I need some like reflection or something. This is not a crystal. It doesn't look like a crystal at least. So I don't know. But I guess there's sparklies. Maybe the sparklies. But anyway, moving on. The next page has Paige collecting magic from the magical community. We see a mermaid put like little water droplets in her bowl.
Oh, of course. These mermaids are a little different from the one in the series where they just had scales covering everything, and this one was
Yeah.
a seashell bra. So.
Right. This is more Ariel kind of mermaid. Oh, I wonder if she was drawn after Alyssa Milano.
Oh.
That's Alyssa's favorite episode.
The one she was also most afraid to do.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
terrified of water, so she just skimmed through the script and like, yeah, fine, and then realized, oh, I'm going to have to get in the water for this.
Yep. So we have mermaid. Then we have a fairy, and just like me, when someone calls me I'm cute, it goes tee.
Do you think the fairy is just stock footage of Scout again?
Maybe. Oh, Scout. And then we have this thing below. This is a nymph, but it's very confusing because nymphs never did this like weird smoky flying thing in the leaves.
Yeah, I thought it was a genie at first.
I thought it was a genie too, but I'm like, no, it's a nymph doing something we've never seen them do ever. She's like, let me touch your bowl. I put my finger in it. And then we have a leprechaun throwing a piece of gold in there. He's like, whatever, lady. And then she puts like a unicorn head in this. Why is she putting a unicorn head in her bowl?
Oh, no,
A decapitated unicorn head. It's very
I
disturbing.
didn't notice that. That's messed up.
yeah, I mean, it might just be, you know, like the bridle around its neck, but it looks like the head is in the bowl.
I mean, this is totally the bowl, which is crazy. I'm like, you could have just like took a little bit of shaving of its horn maybe, but you're putting the head in there.
Paige is trying to
You know what
recreate
I
that
think
scene
it
from The
is?
Godfather.
What?
Yeah. I think it's making twinkly with its horn, but the way it's drawn, it looks like the head's in the bowl, but I think it's supposed to be like leaning over the bowl to do the twinkle twinkle.
Okay, we'll go with that.
Yeah.
The next panel, we had a cameo. It's fucking Billy Jenkins Batman. And she's like, are you sure I can't help? And so she's like, yeah, just keep track of the Morrises. You're doing a really great job. And yeah, so it's great. But this panel is also our You Look Familiar segment.
It's funny, she's so familiar to me, though. Reminds me of this old stray that used to hang outside my loft.
Familiars. That's what I'm looking for.
Have we met before? You look familiar.
So this picture of Billy, this drawing of Billy, is definitely directly inspired by a season 8 promo picture.
Oh, yeah. Now I see it.
Yeah, so I'm going to put a side-by-side on the Instagram where you can see the promo picture and this picture, and you can see how closely they are. Ta-da!
Ta-da!
Okay, so me next, yeah. So
Yes.
we're back in magic school, and Phoebe is writing the spell, and she mentions that the book is now 3 times the size it was when they inherited it, and so she's having trouble condensing it all into one spell. And yeah, the guys are just talking. Yeah, so Henry's just like, I think Henry's being the audience surrogate, like asking all the questions that the audience probably has.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I'm just struck by Piper on the next page.
Speaking of, on the next page, so Piper and Coop beam in, and you're right, it's a very magical, Psylocke-y looking picture with all like the purple fire around them.
Yeah.
And she announces 1 sword for cutting through stone. And I believe that's either Leo or Giles makes an appearance from Buffy. He comes over to her and he says, think you'll be able to wield Excalibur again without it overtaking you? And she kind of says, it doesn't really matter. I just need to wield it like really quick. So as long as our son gets it out of there for me, I can do this. So then she tells Leo, you're going to have to get our kids somewhere safe when all this goes down. And he goes, I know. And then we see in the background a very kind of buff-looking Phoebe.
Yeah.
Hocus pocus over here.
yeah. She's like, got it. So Phoebe gives Piper the spell and kind of says, if I did what you wanted me to do, this would have been like 10 pages long, but I found a way around it to include all the spells in one.
Mm-hmm. So I do have a question here. Why do you think she needs Wyatt to get it out now when she was allowed to take it out before? Because Wyatt was already born. She wasn't pregnant with him. She was already born. He was a baby by then. So what makes Wyatt capable of pulling
she's
it
the
out
lady
now?
of the lake, so she's allowed to hold it, but Wyatt's the only one I think who could use it, I think.
Yeah, he can wield it without going insane. Everybody else would
Okay.
like become like power hungry all the time. But
Okay, I have a guess.
okay, go ahead.
I don't know Charm like the two of you, but if I remember right, was she possessed at the time?
No, she was
No, she
not
wasn't.
possessed.
Damn, there goes my guess.
She was allowed to take out the sword because she was supposed to be kind of like the messenger. She was the person that would be responsible to
Hmm.
getting it to its rightful owner, or because Wyatt was a baby, he was not capable of pulling out the sword. Maybe because he can walk and he can pull things out now. Maybe that's why he's not like baby. I'm just gonna say he's old
Okay.
enough.
Yeah.
And maybe if she starts going crazy, then she might not want to let it go, and he can orbit away from her.
Yeah,
Maybe.
yeah. It's probably because she was probably only allowed to do it while he was baby, and now that he's older, he can do it himself. That's probably what it is. Okay, so next page, we're back in the underworld with Neena and Hogan. They're looking very sexy. You know, in this page, she looks a lot like the mom from Wizards of Waverly Place.
That's
I've
actually.
never watched that.
But yeah, she does kind of give me that. I forget the actress's name, but she looks like her a lot
Oh,
in these.
yeah, I know the character's name. It's
Yeah.
Selena Gomez's mother. Yeah.
Yeah. But they're down there. They're working on a potion, and they said they had to get the blood of the innocents, which is why those innocents are being killed. Look at that. It's continuity. Hogan's getting on her. Is that why these are the rules that kept you from killing innocents yourself? So she never did any of the killing. So that's another clue that we know that Hogan killed Sparky, not Neena. It's curious because it's like, what rules are in place? Why can't she kill innocents? She's killed before. She's killed demons. She's killed warlocks and evil people.
Curiouser and curiouser.
But she can't kill innocents. But Hogan's getting very mad. Yeah, and so Nina's getting mad because Hogan's just being a lame-o, being mad at everything, being annoyed at everything. He's like, I need my comeuppance. I need my power and my glory. And she's like, get over it.
On the next page, they're back at magic school and they're preparing a portal for them to go through. And Henry's worried that he'll turn evil when he gets home, and he's afraid of hurting the girls. And Coop wants to stay. Oh no, is that Coop or Leo on the next panel?
Well, Coop is with Phoebe and Leo is with Tyler.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, wants to stay and help, and she wants someone there to protect the kids, and so yeah. So gotta go with the reassuring. Tyler has to go with the teachers, and it's not safe here. A Harry Potter reference. Letting the older students stay for the Battle of Hogwarts. This is not Hogwarts, and you're officially not a student yet.
Poor Tyler. He just comes in the comic books and just pushed to the sidelines every time right now.
Yeah.
I mean, there should be a clarification. You know, Harry Potter let the adult students stay back. He let the students who were 17 and older could stay back. You know, he didn't let innocent children lay down their lives.
True. There were two things on this page that caught my eye. One, we've got that golden armor in the background, which is almost exactly the armor of Asteria from Wonder Woman.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah. And what the hell is up with Tyler's neck? He's got the neck and head of an adult on the shoulders of a teenager.
Yeah, I mean, and he'd be what? He'd be probably 17, 8. How old did he be? He was what? 12 in Lost and Bound. It'd probably be about 18, I think, now.
Okay.
Yeah, that hair is just so 2000s, and that's
It really is.
That's
Yeah.
I'm glad I didn't hop on that trend. No offense to anyone
I
who
had
did.
the whole Cyclops look.
Yeah.
I get a double page. I like to spread. So we have the sources here, and it goes thoom, and everybody's like, go, go. And we get to see Paige once again using her Sue Storm new power. And in the background, Leo's like, come on, Coop, the kids. And then I'm just going to read these lines because this is such a fierce page. So the sexy source says, so nice to see you again. Girls, you ran off so quickly last time. And then Phoebe says, that was the last time we're ever going to run from you, from anyone.
That's Piper.
You want, huh?
That's Piper.
Oh, that is Piper. It's a purple shirt. You're right. That's kind of how I can tell sometimes, only by the color of their shirt.
Right.
And then Piper says, you want the charmed ones are right here. No matter what you throw at us, no matter what evil comes our way, we'll still be here. And she uses her, what's it called?
Molecular acceleration.
molecular acceleration to burn through a rope and drop a chandelier on her enemy. And she says, "Too bad we can't say the same for you." And the chandelier falls on the source and it goes crash with a K.
That's why he stayed in power so long. There were no chandeliers in the underworld.
See?
That's true.
So the next page has Piper going, Phoebe! And she's like, I'm on it. And so she does this whole, I'm going to levitate over the source, maybe punch him in the head a little bit. And then, and then she's like, hey, big boy. And then she throws a potion. And it goes, like, I can't say it. And it breaks. I don't know what this potion does. It doesn't seem to do anything whatsoever, but she throws it, maybe as a distraction. Because it does nothing.
Yeah, it looks like she's specifically aiming it between the legs.
Yeah.
The source is laughing, and I imagine he does the deep voice like, my turn.
Oh.
Oh yeah, he's blasting energy from his hands, knocking Phoebe out of the way. And Piper's jumping in with the sword now, shouting out, this is for Prue! And the sword goes right through his back. And Paige is preparing the potion for, this is for everyone else.
Yeah, and that's the potion that they made with all the magic of everybody.
So we see the potion flying through the air dramatically, and it hits the source and makes electrocutes all over his body while the sword is inside him. And the sisters start saying a spell.
Should we try a spell?
Why not? Let's try a spell.
In the wind, I sing this rhyme. Bring death before me, before my time.
You've really got to lay off the rhyming, Prue.
Wonderful. Witty, but wordy.
I did the rhyme. I will do the time. Good night.
The power of three we now decree. The power of three will set you free. The power of three will destroy thee.
Yeah, that was our rhyme time. You did it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And our sound effect is grrr.
Yeah, I don't really like this spell, and I'll tell you why when we get to canonical. But
Okay.
yeah, big giant explosion. Then we have Neena casting her spell on the next page, and this is our second rhyme time moment.
Should we try a spell?
Why not? Let's try a spell.
In the wind, I sing this rhyme. Bring death before me, before my time.
You've really got to lay off the rhyming, Prue.
Wonderful. Witty, but wordy.
I did the rhyme. I will do the time. Good night.
Ancient evil now destroyed, others rise to fill the void. To build our strength within this hour, leave vanquished source but share his power. And I don't think this is a bad spell, but this demon's like, that spell was awful. I'm like, I liked it better than the power of three spell. The only problem I have with it is something I'll talk about in canonical again too, because like if you're trying to keep the source's power around, it's not really vanquishing him. Like we talked about this, I don't think the source can really ever truly be vanquished because it's an energy, it's an essence, it's something that's going to be around as long as evil's around, right? So his very essence is his power. We learned that in Charmed and Dangerous, where she's like, if we got our powers back, where did the sources go? Into the void. It's his powers that let him possess Cole. So yeah, this is just like a recipe for disaster, but sure. So because she does her spell, this is a spell to like still keep the source's power around, but she's sharing it with all the demons in the underworld, causing the demons to transform into giant monsters. Which I have problems with this too, which we'll explain later at the end.
Oh no!
But we see the one guy who's like a minion in a hood turn into this giant red demon, and he rips his clothes off, and it's in shreds, and he's like naked demon with a tail and hoofs.
Maybe the next cosplay choice?
Maybe next
There
cosplay
you
choice.
go.
Body paint. And then the bottom panel is a bunch of the demons have been transformed. So there's the demon guy. There's one that's like a wolf, owl, griffin man thing, and a giant reptile lizard thing.
That's so cool.
They are monsters. Monsters unite.
I just see the charmed ones now. Oh no, not the wolf, owl, griffin man.
Right.
There's a name for that kind of fantasy creature.
Yeah.
might be a griffin, not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay. So that's a vampire at the top of the next page, isn't it?
Yeah, let's go vampire queen or something.
Is that the same? Because they have a different actress playing the Vampire Queen in.
Yeah, season 7.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I suppose. Well, the original one died in season 4, so
Right.
it's a different one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Same other creatures of the dark for a common goal. So that's another demon there with red skin and a kind of very strange headdress. And then there's a dark lighter, and then back to Neena and Hogan again.
Yeah, so this spell is like going all around evil, and so this headdress guy, that's the guy that performed the spell to put the source into the golem. So we've seen him before. This dark letter we will see in future comics. He's not done. This is a dark letter named Rennick, who becomes a key player going forward. And so yeah, the spell is just kind of giving everybody a piece of the source's power. Ha ha.
Yeah, I feel like the Dark Lighters are all dressed like they're in the Underworld franchise.
Yeah. And we get of course we get the moon in the background. I'm Celine. Like
Cool. So at the end of this page, Hogan says, "Where's my share?" And on the next page, Lena shoots him into a wall and says, "Right here." And he goes, "Neena, what are you?" Because she's getting choked by vines on the wall. And the fuck me daddy Satan guy says, "What makes you think we're gonna follow a warlock, or what are you anyway?" And she says, "Wouldn't you like to know?" As she sits on a crown of thorns, or not a crown of thorns, a throne of thorns.
And those eyes, my god.
This is a hot picture. I'm like, she's spreading them.
Yeah.
But here is where we're going to put our power play for the day. Power play. So my power play this issue is phytokinesis. So in phytokinesis, users can create, shape, and manipulate wood, vines, plants, moss, and parts of plants, such as leaves, seeds, roots, fruits, and flowers. They can cause flowers and other plants to bloom instantaneously or use plant chemicals for healing. Offensively, one can grasp and strike continuously with vines and roots, project thorns at a distance, and quickly regenerate withering weapons at the user's will. They can grow vines to entangle enemies. A more subtle technique is to release damaging toxins and pheromones. So, yeah, this is all this plant-based power that we see Neena do.
Yeah, I was always fascinated by that kind of power because it seemed like it could be limitless.
Yeah, well, here, funny you just mentioned that because I have limitations here. So let me go over the limitations.
Corrected.
So they may be unable to create plants, being limited to manipulating only from plants that are already in existence. Most users are powerless in areas without plants, or at least the potential for plants to grow, if it's like infertile soil or something like that. Users may be limited to only able to control certain types of plants. So maybe some will work, maybe they can only do like living vines and not like these tree barky vines or something like that. They do have limits to extreme heat or cold. That could be a weakness for them. They're susceptible to lightning strikes. And some users are actually users of water manipulation who only manipulate the water inside plants. Thus, plants with less water inside of them will be harder to manipulate. And dehydrated plants will be impossible to use. So if they're a water person, then they can't do anything. So there you go. Phytokinesis.
Oh yeah, do you remember? I don't know if you guys got a TV series called The Worst Witch over here back in the 90s.
I heard of it. I never watched it, but I do know.
There's an episode where they're brewing a potion in class called the Elixir of Life, and one gets very clumsy and accidentally spills it, so it brings all the tables and chairs back to life because it turns them back into trees, so the room just gets full.
Fun. Now we're in Piper's new restaurant space, and they're like, so this is the new P3? She's like, yeah, but I'm going to change the name to something different. I haven't decided yet, but yeah. So this is they're in the new space she just bought. They're going to get to work. We have all the children sitting here so far. So we have Paige's twins. We have Phoebe's baby, Prue. Although here she looks almost like a little boy. At least she's not an old man anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
So Prue's in the car seat, and then we have Melinda in the background reaching for a teddy bear, and then Wyatt and Chris running around. And then Grabs appears. She's like, yeah, I just need to bless this space. It just needs a little love. She like rubs Wyatt's head. It's very cute, and that's the end of that page.
Oh yeah, so Piper's saying that they have an army of contractors on speed dial who are fixing up the manners first before neighbors find out what happened. That season 7 like hung a like kind of did a hand wave of like how one of the neighbors just thought the noises were a bunch of wild parties that she just wasn't invited to.
Yeah.
Most of the neighbors just think the demon battles are wild parties. So all the infected mortals, they just don't remember. So no memory dust. No, I think they just forgot. So of not all the mortals, and Grams is checking out the next generation of witches, and that baby PJ might be coming into her gifts, and she's come up with the name PJ as a nickname for Prudence Johanna.
Jana.
Jana, sorry. Melinda's. Is that named after anyone?
Yes, Prudence is after Prue. Yeah. Jana comes from Penny's maiden name, Johnson.
Oh, right. I was thinking of the witch Cole killed in Exit Strategy, but she was Jenna, I think. Was it?
Jana, yeah.
That'd be a weird person to name a character after, though. But...
Right.
Yeah, okay. And Melinda's powers might have gone active too. And let's see. She's... Okay, the Source came back and tried to kill us. We vanquished him again. Our powers are evolving. And I'm going to write a book, says Phoebe. But you probably know that from your spectral eavesdropping. Otherwise, life's been pretty boring.
Yeah. I do have to say, this picture at the bottom is, I think, the best picture of Phoebe in this style. And the other two sisters, their likeness is so well done right here.
Good. Yeah, I'm very happy with that one, too. So... I do have to highlight, because when Paige says not all the mortals, she touches her neck and looks at Henry. So this obviously she's thinking about her time of when Henry strangled her. Yeah, so it's still on their minds, which I thought was a really beautiful thing to add in there. Mm-hmm. And we do see, if you look at PJ, Prudence Jana's outfit, there's a little ladybug on there. Do you know why that's significant? I'll tell you.
Because she watched The Bug's Life.
Well, no, in the premonition of her in the future when she saw her daughter, she was like, "Hey, Ladybug." There was a nickname she gave in the future premonition, so that was cool. But here's another connection that I've made that I don't think any other Charmed fans have really noticed. In From Fear to Eternity, she says that Grams told her that a ladybug would help her find her true love, but in this sense, her true love led her to a ladybug because it helped her create her first kid. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. Good. Well, I could see, too, her premonition of seeing her little ladybug made her want to find the dad to make the ladybug.
Right. Yeah, full circle. There you go. I love that. I love that.
It's like the long shot Shatterstar conundrum.
Right. So a ladybug led her to her true love, which led her to her ladybug.
Yeah.
But it's a really nice detail. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So, leading out of Paige's comment, otherwise life's been pretty boring, we see the sisters talking to Grams in the background as Melinda's still trying to get that damn teddy bear. And Graham says that will change when your little ones tap into their goddess-given gifts. And is that Phoebe in the bluish dress? I think it was. No, Paige. It's Paige.
Phoebe's in the red thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Paige says, "Great, something to look forward to." And then Graham says, "Tamara and Kat might be in no rush. These things don't come on a schedule. At least there's no Cupid DNA muddying things up for them." And Phoebe goes, "Hey!" And Graham says, "Kidding, darling, kidding." Such a Graham's thing. And then Graham says, "No matter if my great-grandbabies are half Cupid, part white lighter, are 100% witch, every member of the Warren line is special in his or her own way." And while they're talking, we see that Melinda has orbed the teddy bear into her hands.
I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. It's the worst thing ever. Do you know why I'm so mad at this?
Why?
She was born when Leah was mortal. Why is she orbing?
Yeah.
This is something that comes up a lot, and they do have an explanation for it later, but I'm not happy with the explanation. But this has angered fans over and over and over again. This should not be happening. It's a very egregious mistake.
Maybe he still had sperm from when he was a white lighter.
Years later, it's fine. That's the end of this issue. But wait, there's more. We have a 6-page bonus prelude story called "To the Warren Born." This only exists in the volume collection, so it's never released as an individual issue or in the issue itself. And Sean does not have this. I could not find this for you, but I did provide you line work, so you get it the uncolored, uninked, unlettered.
Unlettered. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's no text,
Virgin.
no color. Right. But you have pictures, so you used to get some context. And I thought it would be fun to just literally read these because we don't always have the option. So Bobby and I will play the roles of the two characters in here, saying what they say. And I'll have to figure, Sean, you can kind of describe what the pages look like and give us our setting.
That will work.
Cool. And then if we need color, we can tell you what the colors were. But
I don't see color.
Oh, colorblind. So, Bobby, do you have a preference of which character you'd like to play? Either Charlotte or Isabel?
I'll go for Isabel.
Okay,
I
Isabel.
like that name.
So I will be Charlotte. So, Shaw, just give us a description of what this page looks like first.
All right, we see a lady walking through a forest, very like Snow White, like dark and scary forest, but she has a lantern. Fuck you, Snow White. She has a lantern. And we see her kind of pushing trees away. She walks across a log, and she comes across a forlorn-looking house in the distance.
Yes, and what Sean does not see is these little inner monologue of this woman. So it says, I guess this is maybe a journal entry that she was writing in, but it says, May 1st, 1670. I have come to a decision. It is the most difficult choice I have made in my life, but my mind is set. Tonight I make the journey alone, for that is what I am. I do not possess the strength to see this through on my own. The woman I seek is spoken of only in whispers, in gossip, in tales to frighten children. They say she is a witch, but that is only one of the many lies about her. She is not a witch. And then the next page starts, she is so much more.
So we see her about to knock on the door.
Yes.
And then nobody answers, so she just pushes her way in. There's a smoking cauldron.
That's Bobby. There's some dialogue here. So
Okay.
So, who disturbs me on this night?
My name is Charlotte Warren. I come seeking aid. Pray pardon this late interruption. So that's when she walks in. And just tell us about the room, Sean.
So the room, there's a smoking cauldron. There's a broom in the corner. It looks like potions and food items being made on a table in the distance. It looks very much like the Sanderson house.
It does. You're right.
Next panel, yeah. Do not step beyond the circle, for your protection as well as mine.
Yeah, so we have Charlotte in this pentagram.
Oh, and in the previous panel, you can see poppets on the shelf as well.
Oh, yes, you can. And then, so Charlotte Warren. And, all right, Sean, let me ask this. Do you know who Charlotte Warren is?
I do not.
Charlotte Warren is the mother of Melinda Warren, who we see in All Hallows Eve. That's the one who was being captive by Ruth.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, she gives birth on Halloween, isn't it?
Yeah, to Melinda. So this is Melinda's mother.
Wow.
Yeah. Isabel says something else.
You are in need of a potion for the retention of menstrua, I assume. Sorry. Back before maxi pads were invented.
Yeah.
They went to see a witch to get them.
Right. So the next page.
So Charlotte's pointing at something? I don't know the context.
Yeah. So she's like, you have the gift of sight.
We see Isabel. That's her name, right? Isabel?
Isabel. Mm-hmm.
She's kind of like in a shady corner next to the cauldron.
Yeah. And what does she say?
When needed, but I do not require the sight to suspect what brings a lone woman to my door at this hour.
Charlotte's like, will you help me?
I help all women, but first I must know what moves you to travel so far to seek my assistance.
Yes. And then what happens next down below here, Sean? She's doing something.
So it looks like Isabel picks up a camera bag, or just a little pouch, and she throws it into a potion, and the potion bubbles and overflows, causing the flames to rise.
Yes. So Charlotte says, "This reason is personal," and she looks down and closes her eyes.
No more personal than what you ask of me.
"First, I must know to whom I am speaking. Are you the one they call Isabel?"
Some do, but I have other names.
And then the next page.
We see Isabel gets up from her chair and comes to the light, and she's beautiful.
Yeah. What does she say?
Isabel will suffice for now.
Yes, and that's when she reveals her name. And then what happens?
And then Isabel does that thing that every pregnant woman hates. She walks over to Charlotte and puts her hand on her stomach.
It's like, "Don't touch me!"
Tell me of the man who left you in this condition.
"He did not leave me. Not willingly."
Yet he is gone all the same.
Oh, then we get a little flashback, Sean. What happens?
Yeah, we see a very happy Charlotte in the hands of John Smith from Pocahontas.
It does look like John Smith. "His name is Lawrence Cutler. I have loved him since I first knew the name for such an emotion. We were to be wed. We should have waited."
But passions run deep, Charlotte. I love the emphasis on deep.
That they do. "The day I realized I was with child, I ran to Lawrence to share the news. He was not to be found. I cannot explain how, but I knew that he would not return." So that's, you want to describe those pictures?
Yeah, so we see Charlotte walking very vehemently through the town on her way to show the pregnancy, and then she walks into Lawrence's house, and like a chair is overturned, but everything else is empty. Nobody's home.
Nobody's home. All right, then the next page, we're back in the cottage.
And we see Isabel has some potion or flowers. She has flowers in her hand.
Yeah, taking the petals or something.
You may enter now. I too lost a love, taken from me by forces beyond your comprehension.
I am sorry.
But you are not the one that knew your love was lost to you. It was your unborn child. She foresaw the truth.
My child? She? How?
I know more than I can share.
Oh, so this is when she puts the flowers in the thing.
Yeah, she like crushes them, puts them in the cauldron, and then starts taking some of the potion. It's funny. She has this whole cauldron of potion, and she takes this one little spoonful and pulls it into a much smaller cauldron.
Right.
Which is why I cannot prepare the potion that you desire.
You will not help me?
I did not say that. I do intend to assist you, but not in the manner you sought.
Oh, so we're on the final page now.
So it looks like Isabel is holding a box that she's looking into, and Charlotte looks on from behind her like, "Ooh, what's the shiny?"
Your child is special. She has gifts that her parents do not possess.
I cannot do this on my own. I will be shunned. My child punished for my weakness. So this is when she's doing the necklacey thing.
Yeah, she's dipping some sort of necklace into the small cauldron that's very full.
This talisman will lead you to a woman in the colony of Virginia. Tell her that I sent you and that it is imperative that she sees this child safely into the world.
And what is the necklace, Sean?
Oh, the necklace, Kevin! It's the triquetra that we're so used to.
Gasp! All right, and then the final panel, what does Isabel say?
Do this for your child and the future of us all.
And then it says, the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Dun dun dun.
Dun, dun, dun. Kevin,
What?
you know what's really cool about this? You know
What?
where I'll be when this episode comes out?
Where?
In Virginia.
Oh!
I will look for the child myself.
There you go. So, what are your thoughts on this little mini issue here?
I think it's really cool. I like that we're getting a little more history. Like, even though it's just simply like creating the triquetra, it's such a big piece of Charmed lore that like it's still really cool and really fun that we get this little snippet.
I have to tell you, this Isabel is actually Neena.
What?
So we have a little bit of Neena's history before she became what we see now.
Wow. So she's the mastermind. She set everything in motion.
She's the one who sent Charlotte to go to Eve, which was the coven that protected her. That was after, she's like, you need to keep this woman safe because she will give birth to our future.
Wow.
Really cool history.
I just find the history very fascinating, and it is kind of interesting to find out kind of how Melinda was conceived as well, because like she was the first of the charmed witches, so it's you never really find out more about
Right.
her family beforehand. So
And
I like the answers, yeah.
right. And Charlotte was not a magical witch.
No.
Lawrence was a mortal. These were non-magical people. Um, Charlotte may have been a practicing witch. We don't know for sure. She could have just been a bystander and who sought this woman for help. But yeah, it's really cool that Melinda was born with three powers, the three charm powers of two non-magical people. So now we're done with that. What was your overall feeling about the issue itself?
I loved it. I guess I always like. Again, I love good continuity. Because sometimes we didn't get that in the show, but we did get it sometimes. So I like it when I just kind of love the thing that stuck out to me was how you saw, you saw the mermaids again, you saw the fairies again, you saw kind of everything sort of coming back to sort of factor into the way they defeated the source, which I just thought it was cool. I wish I could come up with a more eloquent way of saying that, but yeah, it was just cool.
All right, Sean, what did you think?
I know you're setting us up because you probably didn't like it, but I really liked this one. I really liked, I guess, like what Bobby said. They kind of like brought everyone into it. I think the part I like the most is how kind of a letdown it was that like the source was the one being brought back. Where you're kind of like, I wish it was Zinky, but it turns out he's just a piece of the plan, and it's almost like a joke that it's the source because we've unleashed him so many times.
That is kind of fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, in general, I think this is a decent story. It's straightforward. It's adequate. We have a lot of really good callbacks to the series. I love Neena's progression, and into something more mysterious and sinister. We want to know more about her. And the page before the last is lovely because we see Paige still thinking about what happened with Henry. I do really like that a lot. We get the baby names, we get the ladybug, all really nice things. But, and it's a big but.
Oh.
There are several things in this issue that I find unforgivable because they completely go against and disregard the lore that I believe to be true in pretty major ways, and that is infuriating to me. And you have to be like a real like connoisseur to like get these, I think, because they might go under the radar. If I came into this not knowing Charmed or maybe Casual, I would probably rank this a lot higher in what I think about it, but I have some strong problems with it. Should I get into canonical? Put that in my canonical hat.
Canonical.
Yes.
Go for it.
All right. So first, we see Phoebe assigned to do a power of 3 spell, a proper power, or to make a spell. But this is not just a power of 3 spell she came up with. This is a spell that's supposed to be like a stronger version of the power of 3 will set us free, the one that started it all. This is supposed to be like above that. And while we see the make power of 3 spells, the original one is ultimate and works differently than your standard power of 3 spell. Because the power of 3 will set us free is an affirmation of their togetherness and inner strength. It's simple, but it's clear what the purpose is and that it works. Because that spell is only truly effective in situations of high emotion, loss, or dire threat. You can't premeditate this. You can't plan that spell. It won't work. It has to be something that has to be said in the moment. And the fact that she planned this to be a strong version of that bothers me. Because this reimagining like muddies it. If they could have used this anytime they wanted, like beforehand, they would have used it a lot more often than they did in the series. It's something that has to happen in the moment. You can't just, so planning something stronger that sounds worse than the original. I mean, the power of 3 will set us free. It's a statement. This is like trying to make it rhyme, and it's muddying it, and it sounds sloppy. And I don't think it would have vanquished the source, not unless they said it, in the moment. Not unless it was like under the high stakes. This is why the calling the answers a spell that vanquished before worked really well, because they came up with a plan. They were combining all their Warren line magic. And it made sense. If they combined that spell they did before with the magic community, like they did. They got that potion. Then I probably would have believed it more. I would have been happier with it. You know? And then Leo said getting rid of him absolutely is not possible. They are under the impression that he's vanquished for good, that this is going to destroy his body and his essence completely. And I don't buy that. I don't care what this says. You can't do that. Especially not with Neena's spell doing this spell to absorb his power. Like, you're just asking for the source to come back to life. His powers are his essence. So that's one. What do you say about that? What do you think about that?
I can't argue with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And then we see these demons change into monstrous forms. Okay. So demons have often had human forms. Yes, we do know this. And that's almost exclusively what we see late in the series. Nothing but human demons. But that does not mean that their demonic form does not exist. Demons, by their nature, are essentially supernatural monsters. That's what they're supposed to be. They always have been. And just in lore, in all lore. That's their true form. So this new spell shouldn't have changed anything whatsoever, but just brought their demon form that they already have out. If that makes sense. They should already be, or maybe it made their demonic form more monstrous or more powerful, more of stronger monster flavor. But they should have always had a demonic form anyway.
And didn't they say in the series that the more powerful demons were the ones who could hold a human form?
Right.
So it's like them becoming more powerful is them becoming more human, isn't it?
Right. So it goes against that. I don't know. I mean, maybe they could be bigger monsters, but they should be able to hold their human form too. This issue acts like these demons are just mere cult members instead of upper level demons. So, and then Melinda Warren, garbage. This is right up there with Once in a Blue Moon. Like, this does not make sense.
Yeah, you'll notice I left that episode out when I did my review of like the later seasons.
Right. That episode pisses me off so much. What is this? Why? So this is another like one of those episodes, or like one of those things. It's like no. And you will see when we get to later issues, they will try to justify this, and it's a really crappy reason. Their justification is not warranted at all. It's bad. So we'll get to that when we get to that. But So there you go. That's my complaints. So next thing is tips for future white letters.
Oh, we're really just messengers? Guides? Think of us as guardian angels for good witches.
Tips for future white letters.
I was out being a force of good in the universe.
So what's the moral of this issue?
I would say don't be overconfident, because the sisters are like, it's just a source. He's so easy to beat. But meanwhile, there's like this whole other thing going on. So it's going to get worse for them, because now everybody's the source.
Yeah. Crazy. Do you have a tip?
The less clothes they're wearing, the more evil they're likely to be.
Ooh.
Because we had the source wearing nothing but a loincloth, and we had that like big red demon who didn't appear to be wearing anything.
Yeah. I shed my clothes in the name of evil. My tip is, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Are you talking about is that a meta thing or just in universe thing?
Either one. It's really just what you learned from the story. It could be in the universe or what we learned from life in real life, So that's it. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Next is onomatopoeia. So what is your favorite comic word, sound word?
There was one in this episode it was when the source attacked. It was something like "bwok" or "thwok."
Yeah.
I'd never seen that written down before.
Yeah. I like Katish.
That's what I put too. Katish.
I knew it.
I thought it was so cute. Like Katish.
What was that for? Was that the sword?
That was when the Phoebe threw a potion and it shattered on the ground.
Oh, so the glass smashing it.
Yeah. Katish.
And what's funny is it's such a small Katish. Like Katish.
I really enjoyed it. It made me laugh. I giggled.
Yeah.
What is the most valuable panel, MVP?
I just love the one of, it's where the source is standing and he has the sword rammed right through him. I just thought that
Oh.
was so badass.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah. I like the one where Coop is beaming in with Piper and she's all Psylocke with Excalibur.
Mhm. That
Very
was
pretty,
cool.
very beautiful. My most valuable panel is sexy Neena sitting with her legs spread saying, wouldn't you like to know? I mean, it's really hot for one, but it's also really, telling of what's to come. Who is she? I love the mystery of surrounding that. And yeah, just the way she's sitting. Like, yes.
Yeah, I just remembered a meme I saw once and it said, the thicker the thighs, the sweeter the prize.
Very nice.
That's possibly how Neena lives.
Perhaps. Speaking of that note, what's the sexiest drawing in the issue?
I would have said that, but same character technically now that we know that Isabel is Neena, but there's just, I don't know, there was a shot that just framed that area just very well, and it was very well shaped. Yes, that's the word, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I know, yeah. Just, she's wearing the red dress and it was just, very, very well drawn, I'll say.
Nice. So taking it from the bonus story, I love that.
Oh.
No, that's great. That's good.
Mm-hmm. My favorite is this picture with Fuck Me Daddy Satan when he pulls off all his clothes and there's just a shadow over his private part, but you see everything else. I'm very horny for it.
Yeah, so
it looked like you were whipping him there.
There you go. You never know. Okay, but yeah, that was my pick too. The demon growing, bursting his clothes off, and we're left with this buff, naked devil in shreds. Like, oh, I mean, it was between that one and the sexy Neena one, so that's why I chose the Neena one for the most valuable and this for the sexiest. But they're both really up there. All right, now the moment we've all been waiting for. What is the issue ranking? What would you give this, Bobby?
I'm going to go with A Sorcerer's Apprentice.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So good, yeah. I enjoyed it, not amazing, but I enjoyed it,
Okay. Sean?
At the risk of suffering Kevin's wrath, I'm going to give this one a magically delicious because I really liked it. I mean, it makes sense that you point out the things that contradict the story, but as more of a casual fan, since I've only really watched through everything once, this one was exciting because it got all the demons involved, it got all the magical creatures involved, it gave us more to chew on with Neena, so this made me excited to read the rest of the comics.
I can see that, and this is the end of the volume, so it's the end of a story chapter kind of thing, so it makes sense that it's a nice closing spot. Mm-hmm. And for me, this was hard for me because if I'm gonna be honest, like if I came here blind, I would probably like this a lot more. I would probably give it maybe a pretty witching, because I do like a lot of things that happen in it, and I like really good action and a lot of callbacks to it. But because of its egregious problems, I'm also tempted to give it a vanquishable. I don't know. Vanquish this evil from time and space. I don't know, but I guess I'll just split the difference and give it a disenchanting because I knew it does have merit, but it makes me mad. So I'll give it a disenchanting.
That's a choice.
Yeah. And all the issues we read so far took place in a matter of maybe about 2 weeks. A 2-week span. So that's kind of give us a nice frame of reference, I think. Instead of a poll this week, I've decided to do a Grimoire game.
What is this, some kind of game?
Grimoire Games!
Some people think this is entertainment.
Yay!
So this is how I figured. At the end of every volume, so the last issue of every volume will be a game episode. So because we are finishing off volume 1, we're going to do a game. And it's going to be you two playing because I created the game, so I can't play.
Bring it on.
So this is fill in the blank, Witchy Spells Edition.
Oh no. Never mind.
Well, if you are a viewer of Witch media in general, I think this will be pretty easy for you. What's going to happen is each of you are going to get a fill in the blank, I'm gonna pick a number, we'll roll, and we'll see who goes first. And you can choose A or B, kind of like what they do in Match Game, when you choose A or B, and then whatever one you choose, the next one will go to the other person. If you don't know the one I give you, the other person can steal.
Oh.
First, pick a number 1 through 10. Whoever closest will go first.
5.
6.
Okay, so my number was 3, obviously. so Bobby will go first. For the first round, do you want question A or B?
I'll go for A.
Okay. So A, Wingardium blank.
Leviosa.
Leviosa.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
Leviosa, not Levio. Oh no, Leviosa, not Leviosa.
Yes. So 1 point for you. Good. Sean, yours is Expecto blank.
Patronus.
Oh,
Patronum.
Patronum. There we go.
Yeah. The spell is Patronum. It's called Patronus.
Yes. So that was the easy round. 1 point each for each of you. The next one is 2 points each.
Oh.
This one will start with Sean. Which one would you pick, A or B?
A.
A. So A is, let the blank of objection become but a dream.
Let the object.
Object, correct. 2 points. All right. And Bobby's is, come to us who call you near, come to us and blank here.
Settle.
Settle. See, I'm being easy on you guys. See, it's not too shabby. All right. Round 3. We'll start with Bobby again. Which question would you like?
I'll go for B this time.
B. Okay. It says, and he will have 1 green eye and 1 blank.
Oh, I don't know this one, sorry.
Okay. Sean, would you like to try to steal?
Sure. He will have 1 green eye and 1 blue.
1 blue, correct.
Wow.
So that's 3. That was from Practical Magic.
Oh, I never saw that. So.
Neither have I.
Okay. And then your question, Sean, is light as a feather, stiff as a blank.
Bored.
The Craft.
Craft, yes. The next one, we'll start with Sean. This is for 4 points each. A or B?
Oh.
They're getting harder rounds. Okay. B. So it's blank, menchika boo, la bibbidi bobbidi boo.
I know this.
It's hard now.
Yeah. You gave me all the easy stuff from the spell.
So when I say it, it's a blank, menchika boo, la bibbidi bobbidi boo.
I don't remember. I'll let
Bobby, do you want to try to steal?
Okay, because I can hear it in my head, but I don't think I can get the word right. It's like Splendjikaboo or something like that. Yeah.
Splendjikaboo. The actual word is Salagadula.
Oh, okay.
Salagadula, menchikaboo, bibbidi bobbidi boo. Yeah. It's hard.
These aren't even words, Kevin.
Yeah, people just think it's nonsense because they are nonsense. But Salagadula is the word I was looking for. All right, so Bobby, you get the next one. It is blank Sevruga, come winds of the Caspian Sea.
Oh God! See, I know this one. It's like say it again. Sorry.
Blank Sevruga, come winds of the Caspian Sea.
Oh, it's gone. Sorry, I don't know it.
Sean, do you know it? Do you want to steal?
I know the rest of the spell so well, except for this one word. Say it one more time.
Blank Sevruga, come winds of the Caspian Sea.
Max laryngitis, lavoce to me.
Yeah, laryngitis, glossitis as well.
I can hear it in my head without hearing the word, so no, I can't get it.
It's beluga.
Beluga. Ah!
Baby beluga in the deep blue sea.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a hard round for you guys.
Yeah.
I spoiled you with all the easy questions.
Yeah, and I'm a massive Disney geek as well, so I'm very shocked that there's Disney trivia I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, to make it worse, Bobby, I have a Disney podcast, so people who listen to this and that are going to be like, "I'm not listening to that guy anymore. He doesn't know his spells."
All right, so this is the last round. So Bobby, would you like A or B?
A.
All right. So A is Triguna blank Tricorum Satis D.
I'm not even gonna try.
Do you know what it's from?
No.
Okay. Sean, would you try to steal?
I believe, if I remember right, it's Trigoidy.
Wait, is this Bedknobs and Broomsticks?
It's Bedknobs and Broomsticks, yes. Triguna. But that is not the correct word. The correct word is Macoides. You're close.
Macoides.
Triguna, Macoides, Tricorum Satis D. Bum, 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 ba, ba, ba. Okay. All right, but you do have opportunity to redeem yourself with B. Filigree, apogee, blank, perigee.
Is it pedigree?
Pedigree is correct. Yes.
Yay!
That's a sword in the
all the ones
stone.
for me to get.
That was actually Bedknobs and Broomsticks as well.
All right.
So I kind of had rounds. I had like a Harry Potter round. I had a Charmed round. Had a Disney animated movie round, and then and then I had like the general witch one too. All right, but there's also a little thing at the end here. So I'm going to tell you what points you have. So Bobby has 3. Sean, you have 11 right now.
Oh.
It's not even close.
Here's a bonus round. The first person to shout out the answer will get like bonus points.
Okay.
So this is just the bonus round. Finish this phrase. Ichitakabatamalaca blank.
Mystica.
Mystica. There you go. That was a hocus pocus.
Oh. Which is nuts because I literally went to see it yesterday. Well, last weekend, sorry.
Round of applause for everybody. Nobody wins anything. It's just a fun little game. So thank you for indulging that. Sean, read us what's next.
Kevin, I'm so excited for this episode or issue. We're finally getting the answer all the way from season 2.
Yeah.
So issue 6 is Morality Bites Back.
Oh.
Almost a decade ago, Phoebe Halliwell saw a future in which she was publicly burned at the stake for killing a mortal that murdered her friend. Now, as the time approaches for her premonition to play itself out, what can she do, if anything, to stop it? Phoebe questions whether the events are destined to play out the way she saw them, or if enough has changed to save both her friend's life as well as her own. Don't miss this shocking one-shot issue that will have you on the edge of your seat.
Ooh, I'm very excited. That's going to be a good one. So we've reached the end. Where can people find you, Bobby?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Bobby Iceman, all lowercase, all one word, it's the same on both. And my YouTube channel where I talk Charmed and several other things as well is
Power Rangers.
Yes.
Power
I've only done one Power Rangers video so far, but yeah. It's Better with Bob and there's a question mark at the end, which I just threw in there, so that's how you know it's me if there's a question mark at the end.
Yes. And Sean, where can we find you?
You can find me on the Marvelous Galaxy of Disney, where I know every single word to every single spell of Disney history, obviously. And you can find me on Once Upon a Cult, where we choose a group every other week and discuss how cult-like they are.
You can also find Sean and I on Solving for X, and you can find this podcast at Words of the Witches everywhere, except for Twitter, where that's Words of Witches. On Monday, I'm still doing my 3-part morality series on evil, good, and neutral, so definitely tune into those before we get into Morality Bites Back. It was a plan all along. So we'll see you for all the future things. Your destiny still awaits. Bye.
Bye. Blessed be.